Alright, so, hello everyone, my name is Focusite, or just Focus. I am here today to show a marathon submission run for Silver Story All Gold Medals. Now, some of you might be more familiar with the previous categories that have been shown off often in Silver Story or Sonic 06 in general, those being any percent or no MSG. No MSG has recently been renamed to No Credits Warp because of some findings there. So you might be familiar with those categories. I'm almost certain that a lot of people have not heard of the All Gold Medals categories. The All Gold Medals categories are essentially the completionist categories in Sonic 06, and they're very unique and very different from those main two categories. So, what are gold medals? Well, here's the gold medal results. They act like the emblems do in SA1 or SA2 if you've ever played the adventure titles, and in much the same way you need to complete certain things, like getting S ranks in all the missions, all the stages, and also getting silver medals throughout the stages, these collectibles, in order to collect, in our case, all 56 gold medals in Silver Story. So that's the purpose of this category, and it's very different as a result. You got stuff like score attack mechanics, you got certain unique techniques that aren't used or aren't applicable in the main runs that are useful here because of the difference in routing. You have, you get to see all the missions, which is my favorite part. The missions are a sight to behold in Sonic 06. And it's very entertaining because you got the sense of anticipation of, oh, did they get an S rank? Did they not get an S rank? Is it going to be tight? Speaking of estimates and, I guess, being tight, I have an estimate of 2 hours and 30 minutes. Current world record is 2 hours and 15 minutes, 21 seconds, and my sum of best is 201, so this category can vary a fair bit, but if I play certain things safely, then I should avoid any sort of major time fluctuation. All of it is, there's no real major RNG point in this run, it's just whether or not you get everything done cleanly within the story mode in one smooth run. So without further ado, though, since we're all here and all excited for all gold medals, why don't we just begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so first thing first, we have a trick called Telethrow. This is central to Silver's story across all categories. As Silver, you can lift up objects if you stand on them and hold RT. If you are standing at a steep angle, and then try to throw the object, the game is going to throw it down, but because of the direction you're facing and the way you're facing, down becomes basically slightly up. So if I stand on this rock like so, and then throw it, I'm able to launch myself across the stage. It is super useful, because it can be done on pretty much any object, so long as you can lift it and stand at a steep angle. It is central, absolutely pivotal, that you learn Telethrow if you're going to learn Silver Story. And it makes what used to be very inconsistent methods much more consistent. Now, at the start of all gold medals here, you're going to see I'm going around the stage in some odd patterns. This is because I'm trying to get all the silver medals. The silver medals give you a single gold medal if you complete a stage while collecting all of them. There are 10 in each main stage, including Wave Ocean Blaze, and there are 30 in total in the hub world. Blaze Wave Ocean gives you a total... Blaze Wave Ocean and the main 8 stages in Silver Story all give you about, I would say, 9 gold medals, and the ones in the hub world, collectively, even though there are 30 of them, give you 1 gold medal. So that's a total of 10 just from collecting all these. However, it makes the routing super interesting, because you do need to base your routes in the stage off of where each of the silver medals are. And so it's a very unique approach to the game that you don't see in any other category. I just collected 4 silver medals there. The split in this stage is there's 4, 2, 4, so that's when I say something like that, I'm meaning like each section has this many gold silver medals. So there are 2 silver medals here. We're going to collect them as Blaze. We'd actually skip Blaze in any other category, because Silver can telethrow to the end faster, but because the silver medals here are in a pretty tight spot, I prefer using Blaze. She walks faster, safer to recover from. And as Blaze, there's a trick known as the Advanced Fire Claw, though it's a bit of a misnomer. It uses the Spitting Claw, which looks like a Fire Claw, but it isn't. So the Spitting Claw has 2 states. You can activate it on the ground by letting go and holding X, or you can activate it in the air. If you manage to activate it in a certain way, you're able to maintain your ground speed while having the duration of the air one. So let's see if I can get it. I'm gonna try for it one more time. I couldn't get it. It's a bit of annoying because it's a frame-perfect trick. There's only a single frame where you can hit that twice, so instead I'm just going to go to this automation. What it does, though, is, again, it just gives you massive speed while allowing you to maintain it for a very long time. Although it's very finicky on rails, particularly, even though rails give you a lot of ground speed. The issue with rails is you're going to have to press X to speed up, and in a very rhythmic way, so like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you tried doing that if you noticed what I said earlier, you activate the spinning claw by holding X. So you need to press X, then hold X, and release X after jumping, all within a very small time span, and so it can be very frustrating to get. However, not too bad. We're still going to get the S rank, I'm pretty sure. I just did a frame buffered input by holding X on the previous screen and letting go on the load screen. Basically, the game, if you do something like that, the game then thinks you're still holding the button up until the first frame of the next stage. And so it then takes that as an input. So it immediately presses X, which is Blaze's Fire Claw, her homing attack. That is a Fire Claw. And it does that first frame, which allows us to skip the automation there and then skip around Silver's hitbox to play and finish the stage as Blaze, which is just faster because it's very difficult to get those 4 silver medals in quick time as Silver. Just gonna go down to the goal ring here, and we're done. So the major things we're looking for when we're completing a stage in the normal mode is, did you get all 10 silver medals, which I'm pretty sure I did. Did you get an S rank, which I did. And did you complete the stage, which should be the most obvious of them all. But sometimes it can be a little hard because the game's weird. So yeah, we should see if we got all the 10 medals. Yes, we did. So that is 3 gold medals. That's the amount we're looking for at the end of every single normal mode stage. The risk is if you don't have 3, you're going to have to revisit the stage entirely in order to go back to it later. And the game doesn't register, even if you miss like a single silver medal, the game doesn't register as it being entirely complete until you play the stage over again after collecting like the 1 medal you may have missed. So this is why it's very important to ensure you get everything in one smooth go. Because otherwise you could add minutes to the run. Anyways, we have here Iblis Phase 1. Iblis Phase 1 is the epitome of Silver's attack, his combat mechanics, and specifically the use of objects. So there are 2 major things to keep in mind when playing as Silver and fighting bosses like this. The first is that you will throw objects in the order you pick them up. So this really big one that you see to my right, that's going to be thrown first. So that's why I picked them up in a certain way so I could hit it like that. Spin around. And so I'm making sure to be very careful here and not override my puffs or have things destroy one another. The other major mechanic in Silver's story is specifically for non-rival fights. So not Sonic, not Shadow, but every other boss, they will have invincibility frames. And so in order to best use the ammo you get, the objects you get around you, the best thing to do is to rhythmically time it so that objects don't hit all at once, and instead hit in like waves and batches, so like 1, 2, 3. You also need to be aware of where the object is around Silver, because that's going to influence the distance it takes, the amount of time it takes as well. And that's Iblis Phase 1. Pretty solid fight that was. And another 2 gold medals. Nice, golded that. As it deserved, it was a very tight fight. So, up here we're going to have the first hub world of the game, which is the one before Tropical Jungle, which is in Soliana Forest. At this point, Mephiles, as I like to call it, Purple Shadow has convinced Silver and Blaze that there is someone in the past who has activated Iblis. He basically wants them to be mercenaries to kill Sonic. And Silver, being the naive 14-year-old he is, just decides, yep, that makes sense. That's totally how all the devil comes about, a blue boy. But Telethrow here is absolutely crucial. As you can see, there is so much application to this trick. Because it can be done on pretty much any object. There are also other mechanics that are involved with Telethrows that I want to get into. You may have noticed that I actually faced down, and then the object, as soon as I threw it, like, skyrocketed to the ground. This is because Silver's facing direction will influence how the object goes, how high up or how fast down. So if you're facing directly towards the peak of the object, what's going to happen is the game is going to go, okay, you are throwing in the same direction as the peak of the object. That's really fast, so you're going to get a lot of height. If you tilt yourself slightly left or right, the game will then still give you some height, but not like a ton of height. It will give you some height. And then it will go, okay. I'm going to tilt you slightly to the right or slightly to the left, because this is how Silver normally acts with objects. If he throws slightly to his right or slightly to his left, it's going to aim in that direction but lose some height. And then the same happens when you go down. It's then going to try to aim for down and then slightly left or right. If you're facing just directly left or right, it's going to give you no additional height, but it will go as far in that direction as possible. And this might sound really complicated, but it basically just means you can tilt silver while on an object to slightly guide it. And it's just really important to know how your facing direction will influence. It is different from the direction you're actually going to hold. So I might like tilt myself slightly right here, but I actually want to hold still towards the object. Otherwise, I could lose height, or I could just fall off the object entirely. So now that that silver medal's been collected, I'm actually going to reset the stage. And you might be wondering, well, why? Why would you do that? You lost all the silver medals. Well, interestingly enough, in Sonic 06, the game registers a silver medal as being collected on the first collection and then just keeps it that way forever. So as soon as I complete those 4, I can get on this box and Telethrow by tilting it in a certain way. And you'll notice the time is restarted, so I don't need to worry about time as much. Which is good, because the time here can be really quite annoying to deal with. Gonna get these 3. There's the 5th silver medal there. I'm gonna go back to this log. There's the 6th silver medal there. So strats like these basically mean you can prioritize certain silver medals at the beginning of a route, and then make sure you get the S rank by doing something else afterwards. So I didn't want to have the time waste that I would get from, you know, using all those silver medals, that would be an additional minute, and this stage is fairly tight when it comes to time. That is a stuck panel. Let's go. The 7th silver medal is in the air over here. Or sorry, the 8th, actually. The 7th one was the invincibility capsule, interestingly enough. It's just right there. I'm gonna get this one up, and I'm gonna hover over to this silver medal. I need to hold a long time on these lily pads to get additional height. These panels themselves, it's so funny because you think it's a flat object. How could you possibly Telethrow on it? The edges are just the right amount for that, which I love. It's so funny looking. Just stand on the side of an object and then... Oh! You can see also, this is another factor that comes into play when you are trying to Telethrow. It still acts like a normal throw. So if you try to, like, aim for something, it's going to actually throw you towards it. Which is both good and bad. It can get you really quick height there, for instance, but it can also mean you don't aim where you want to aim. Here's the 9th one. I wanted to make sure I don't lose my rings, because rings are quite vital for S-ranking certain stages, and Tropical Jungle is no exception. Just gonna hover over here, get this chain of rings. And the final silver medal is right here. So I believe we've collected 10. And I can just get to this ball and Telethrow it. Stand at a sharp angle. Lift it. And throw it. There you go. That should be good for an S rank, I think. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna be tight. Yeah, we did it. Perfect. Should have all the silver medals as well, if I counted correctly. We definitely have the 2 gold medals from the S rank in completion of the stage. Let's see if I got all the silver medals. Don't think I missed one. Yes! Let's go. And this is what I'm saying when the game builds a sense of tension. Making sure, because sometimes it's very easy to forget, oh, did I actually get them all? Did I actually do this right? It can be very easy to realize if you've done that or not. So sometimes when you forget and it just suddenly works out, you're like, awesome, cool, great. Okay, so with that in mind, some of you might be wondering, okay, so I see that what you're trying to do, you're trying to get an S rank, you're trying to get all the silver medals, but like, what are the important things about getting an S rank? Because this stage is pretty straightforward. There's just you basically just actually go through the stage, unlike in a any % or no credits warp. You actually go through this stage because you need to get the 10 silver medals. So I'll just talk a bit about the S rank mechanics and the ranking mechanics in Sonic 06 in general. So, the game has set scores for certain things, where it says, okay, this is an S rank, this is an A rank, this is a B rank, so on and so forth. It is your job to know the S rank beforehand, and plan around it. If you could be as close to the S rank, like, limit as possible, great. That means you're going to probably save time because you probably wasted less time trying to hit that. There are three major factors at play, though. There is the score you get from completing a stage, which is just the score at the top left there. There is the time bonus, which is a value that starts at a certain point and then loses 40 points every second. So it's a set value in certain cases. Tropical Jungle has a very tight time bonus, for instance. It starts at 42,000, which is not an automatic S rank. So you need to get some points and score points and also rings. Rings are the other major point of score attacking in Sonic 06. So rings give you 10 points for collecting them, but if you manage to take a ring to the end of a stage, it will give you an additional 100. So just getting 10 rings is 1,000 points. So in certain stages, specifically Sonic's, I think more often than not, rings are the basis, the heart of what will get you your S rank. Although, funnily enough here, so most stages in Sonic 06, most main stages, are 50k for an S rank. All of Silver's main stages, the main 8, are 50k. Bosses typically are 30k, and missions can range anywhere from 30k to 50k, maybe even 60k in some cases. Wave Ocean Blaze here is a little bit odd. It's the odd one out, because on 360 at least, they didn't fix the fact that this was set to like a mission. So the score bonus, the threshold here to get an S rank, is not 50k. As you're going to see, it's 30k. For some reason. In the Act Trial mode, which is the replay mode, essentially, for these stages, you actually can... got all the gold medals, that's nice. You actually can, like, play through the stage again, but the score bonus, the amount you need to get 50k, or to get an S rank, is 50k. They corrected that there. Interestingly enough. And it's corrected in the PS3 release as well. So only in story mode on 360 is that set to 30k instead of set to 50k. Very strange anomaly, but... Anyhow, what we have next is Mission 8. We're supposed to find the person Amy is looking for. And what else could we do besides talk to some people in the town? Silver, will you be my guest? Will you be my guest, Silver? Will you...
Maybe I'll talk to some people in the town.
Thank you. Sometimes the load screens ruin my jokes, which is unfortunate. I am going to go up here, and we're going to get some of the silver medals in the town. There are a total of 20 in this section, but I'm not going to get 20. I'm actually just going to get 3. We're going to come back for the remaining 17 later. So I'm going to just get the silver medal that's here, hidden in this alcove with this man. And I'm going to wait, let my action gauge recharge. I should mention also as well, the bottom right is an action gauge. Pretty much all of Silver's psychokinetic powers, which range from hovering to picking up objects to, not attacking necessarily, but using objects technically takes that. Using the teleport dash later on, all those things use the action gauge. So Silver is limited by his action gauge. So you need to be able to manipulate and manage it really effectively in order to do well. This isn't for a marathon itself, this is actually a submission video for a marathon. For future marathons, I'd like to run this category, and that is exactly what I'm doing by giving a commentary run. So, Silver Combat before the Shock Bracelet is kind of annoying. We actually don't get the Shock Bracelet in this run anyhow, as we'll see later. But Silver can only really do 2 things. He can use other people's objects to attack them, or stun enemies, pick them up, and then drop them to attack them. Neither of those are really ideal. As you also could see there is a comboing system in 06. It works with a capital question mark, because it doesn't really work that often. And it can be very strange. So if I just pick up an explosive box and throw it in the right way, if it destroys enough enemies in quick enough time, the game's gonna go, okay, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're doing. You got a combo because you defeated a leader, but you didn't. So you can just arbitrarily get combos from that, and that gives you additional points. So that helped us get the S rank here. But there are certain missions, as we're going to see later on, that actually kind of rely on the combo and determine whether or not you will get a fast mission there or a slow mission. That's one of the missions we'll see about midway through this run, and probably one of the tightest missions that I know of. That was still overall pretty good. Again, just use what you have around you, throw it at enemies, stun enemies, and throw them at other enemies. That's sort of the combat mechanics you have as Silver at this point. So I'm going to just move on over here. There's a barrel over here, as you might notice, a small barrel next to a big barrel. I'm going to stand on top of it and hopefully tilt it the right amount. Unfortunate. I was trying to do a telethrow off the barrel there, but I unfortunately was facing the wrong way. If I was to hold at that direction, I would just be thrown down into the water and die. Don't want that. So, unfortunate little bit of time loss there. But yeah, telethrowing is absolutely essential in Silver's story. It is the fastest method of movement. And again, pretty much anything can be telethrown. What do I mean by pretty much anything? Well, as we're going to see here, I'm actually not going to go for the silver medals at all in Dusty Desert. Because trying to go for the silver medals at this point, with my very limited knowledge, or my limited tech, not my limited knowledge. I don't know what's happening next. Oh no, I don't know where the silver medals are. The limited tech, the limited kit, rather, that you have here as silver makes it very slow to get the silver medals at this point. So we're actually going to return to this stage when we do the hard modes. So for now, we're just going to go for time. And what better way to go for time than to use a pot to launch ourselves to the end of the stage. Gonna wait a little bit for this next wave to come in, and then gonna hover, go back, pick this up, and bam, that has brought the pot out of bounds. So I've used two things there. I've used the lift exploit. And I'm now gonna telethrow off this. So the lift exploit, basically, flat surface, flat ceiling. If you throw it, if you can lift it above there, you're gonna clip right through. And now I can telethrow on this pot. Oh, that was so tight. And there we go. That is the end of Dusty Desert in 53 seconds. Why was I saying that was a bit tight? If you go back inbounds, the pot will break and you have to either hover around a bit or just play this stage from where you are there. If you throw too high, there is a death plane to your right above you and a death plane to your right. So you need to avoid both of those. And on top of all of that, if you face the wrong direction, or if you don't hold the inputs right for the telethrow, which is holding towards object, throw, lift, throw, stop holding right after, you will just jump in place, and it is the saddest hop that anyone could ever ask for. But that was a pretty good Dusty Desert, and look at that split time, 20:06. This game was built on speedrunning. Right there, evidence. Definitely not a coincidence. Evidence. Speaking of interesting things with Sonic 06, this boss. So this boss is pretty simple. Just throw everything at Sonic. This should be an S rank. So the important things with this boss is, normally in the game, when you're doing like other categories like no MSG, or sorry, no credits warp, or actually this doesn't appear in any %. When you're doing no credits warp, you actually want to avoid the S rank here because the boss can be defeated in like 13 seconds with an A rank, and that's faster because you avoid one of these gold medals. But we want both of them. I have admittedly, in the past, actually played through this stage, and then in all gold medals, and deliberately avoided the S rank because I am almost hardwired to do stuff like in no credits warp. And so I'm sitting here going, yes, I avoided the S rank, wait! And so I then had to replay through the boss afterward, which, it's a short boss at least. It's a funny boss. It works, you know. It goes. And so now we're at 15 of 56. We are technically a quarter of the way through the gold medals. And we're coming up to where we'd normally get something called the Shock Bracelet. So the Shock Bracelet allows us to do a move called Psycho Shock. It acts like a ground pound would, but it actually gives like a radius that stuns enemies as soon as you like fall down and do it. So it acts like a ground pound, but it will stun enemies in a radius around silver. That's pretty useful normally because, you know, if you can stun a bunch of enemies and then pick them up, drop them, they're all going to just despawn. They'll be defeated. And that's really useful, but we don't want to use it quite yet because it's going to block our X button. It's done by holding X as silver, and we don't want that quite yet, as you're going to see when we get to Radical Train. So instead, I'm going to commit a traffic violation to skip the Shock Bracelet. There's this sign here. I'm going to push it against the wall lightly, get it to flip over on its back, like so. Oh, this is not looking too great. I think I can fix this, though. I don't want this sign, this face of the sign. That's not good. I want the actual opposite face. I'm going to let it spin on its side. There we go. Oh, come on. Because of the way that this sign is, the sign's collision works, I'm trying to push it against this wall, drop it here, and I'm going to walk to the right. If I do this right, I should just clip right through. It can be a little frustrating to deal with the curvature of the sign as it just rotates. Sometimes the game's like, it's the right way. No, it's not. And that can be, again, frustrating, but it's a pretty simple clip compared to what we used to do, which would have involved a lot more variables and would have been a lot harder. Also got a silver medal there. Don't want to forget about that.
Let's hurry.
So now Eggman's base is ahead. We have Eggman here, and this is the last time we would see Blaze in the run. So we're just going to get 5 silver medals that are here, and we're going to try to do an AFC at the end. We're going to attempt to do an AFC. I'm going to just hit this enemy. So it's really important to know what enemies you should go for and shouldn't go for in terms of score. Each enemy has a certain point value that they'll give. Big enemies like those typically give about 1,000, as you can see from the top right, or left. There are also leaders. I did not mention leaders earlier. Certain groups of enemies will have a head leader, a honcho, if you will. And they will essentially, if you would defeat them, you'll defeat the entirety of the group and get not only all their points, but also a combo, which is useful. So 4th silver medal here. This one always gets me. So scary, that one. Okay, there's a 5th silver medal. I am going to try for the AFC to get it really fast, but let's see if I even do. Snowball's coming at me. Oh, this is looking good. So there's a silver medal here in this rock. I got it. I could hear the voice and clip right through. Sweet. That's pretty tight, that one, because the AFC does that, and it goes really fast, and if you manage to explode a bomb, you'll stop and take damage, so I'm really happy with that. Alright, and so now we're here at White Acropolis as silver. We're going to telethrow off everything, of course. No, nothing will stop this 14-year-old from throwing himself around at the speed of sound. Except, you know, maybe the physics engine. So I'm just going to align myself like this with this ball. Go to the right, and then I'm going to telethrow down, hopefully. Ooh. I wanted to explode this, so I'm just going to drop some explosive ones like there. There's the 6th silver medal. So we got a total of 4 more to go. Score is important in this stage because the time bonus is fairly low. The time bonus is like on average about 35 to 30k by the time you finish the stage, so you need to get a lot of rings and points. Fortunately though, there are pretty easily adaptable enemies here. Oh, didn't want to lose that many rings, but that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna pick up this rock here. I'm gonna telethrow it as soon as it stabilizes. I'm gonna telethrow it. Oh, your slaps also push objects, I should mention, which sometimes isn't fun. I'm gonna telethrow it over to the left. Here, that is the 7th one. Jump up here. And there are 3 sets of enemies here that give combos. They are very, very useful. 8th here. The first set of enemies that give combos is this red one here. Typically, the leader has a different color than the rest, and so it's very easy to markate, okay, this one's the leader. Other times, the leader being an enemy is very obscure. Certain big golem enemies, either the Iblis ones, which are red, the Mephiles ones, which are purple, or Eggman's ones, which are robots, are also leaders, but it's not clear that they're leaders. So sometimes they'll just like throw something and be like, hey, congrats, you got a combo, and it's just like, oh, I didn't do anything. Okay, this is the 9th one. Oh, these enemies move very weirdly. As you can see, they're behind me and they're trying to strafe, but it just looks like they're floating and stopping in place. It's quite funny, honestly. Okay. So this is the last leader. Hit it like that, and there you go. That's everyone. I am going to get some rings, because I don't think I have enough points. Some rings over here. Oh, I'm actually just going to go directly to the end. Let's see if I have enough. I have all the silver medals, at least. Let's see if I got enough. I think I might. Oh, I have more than enough. Okay, whew. Good.
Perfect!
Alright, I think I got all the silver medals there. There are a total of 10, and there were 5 in this section. Pretty sure I remember the locations, and I'm thinking that we have all the gold medals here. Awesome. Sid deserves food. Yes, we do. Okay, this has been a pretty smooth run so far, even if we've had some mistakes. Alright, so, up next is Egg Genesis, and I should also mention the boss mechanics and, like, strategies we use here are pretty much identical to those in No Credits Warp. Bosses, just from time alone, are typically time is the central point in most bosses for getting an S rank, so if you just defeat them fast, you got it. So, this boss is a cyclic boss. Takes 6 hits per cycle. Let's see if I can get a ring. So it takes 6 hits per cycle, and it has 4 cycles total. I am not having enough here to do what I want to do, so I'm going to wait a little bit. The plan I was trying to do, is to pick up just enough missiles to defeat the first cycle, which is, or the first 2 cycles, rather. Wow. Genesis. Genesis, what are you doing? That was a very delayed throw. Unfortunately, this Genesis isn't too great, but I'll explain what we're supposed to do. You want to get enough missiles in your first pickup to get 2 cycles worth. That's a total of, 12 hits. Now I'm just going to use a box to defeat it, because that's, you know, the best way to defeat most of Eggman's enemies. That's okay. I should still be able to get the S rank if I get rings. I do not want to have to do this boss over again for the S rank, so that's what's going to suck. Let's see if I make it still. I don't know. I don't think that's an S rank. Oh, barely an S rank, so yeah, you need to get this one pretty fast, otherwise you risk the S rank. This is what I'm saying when the category can be very tense. If you make a single mistake in some areas, it could cost you minutes. Fortunately, though, we don't have to revisit this boss, which is pretty cool. Hey, thank you for the raid, Flub. So you've seen right now, you've seen the psychokinetic thrill of Silver's story, right? You've seen how you can throw almost anything and do so many different things. And you've seen how Blaze, with her fiery spirit, can just speed across the stage. I don't think any of you have truly experienced speed like this, though. We're only just starting. No one here, I'm saying no one, has ever experienced speed like this. Welcome to the Amy mission, everyone. This is unskippable, and in fact, this makes about 3% of the run in Silver no credits for. I actually like to look at the run, like the progression of Silver's story, as how much of the run is this mission? I actually look into that stuff because it's so funny. Because this mission, there isn't really much you can do to speed things up, other than just really tight movement, unless you're on the PlayStation 3 version. So I have kind of avoided version differences up until this point, but I'll just explain a little bit about them. I'm running on the 360 release of the game. The 360 release was the main development version, as we're pretty sure it was. Sega likes Microsoft more for that sort of stuff. The 360 release allows you to download the game to your console because of the install feature native to 360s. Unfortunately, while that install feature does exist on PS3, it does not exist for this game. And so, instead, you aren't able to install the game on PS3, not natively at least, and so you lose about 5 to 10 seconds per each second, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. 5 to 10 seconds per load, every load on PS3 compared to the installed version on 360. By installed, I don't mean the digital release. I mean, you can just go to, like, game mechanics or, like, game details, and then install the game's base data to your hard drive. You still require the disc to play, but it will improve your load times quite significantly. It is a bump up for sure. But it's still kind of slow, as you can see. So this is why we're kind of hoping Xbox Series X backwards compatibility, please, soon, maybe? Because that might improve the loads even further. But on PS3 with that mission, the funniest thing is, because of draw distance differences, how the 2 different versions of the game render draw distance differently. The PS3 version, you get something explodes immediately, which it doesn't on 360, which releases these spike balls, which basically kills enemies for Amy, saving you 5 seconds. On 360, you don't get that, so if you really want to save time on the Amy mission, play on PS3. Oh, I'm gonna have to go around and get that medal again. Oddly enough, when I'm on this boardwalk, it thinks I'm on the surface of the water, because the water surface is really high. So there we go, that's a silver medal right there. Thank you, Sid. Appreciate it. Have fun with food. I guess that's what I wanted to say. What am I doing? I was about to skip mission 11. I can't skip this mission here. So normally in the base categories, like, no credits warp in this instance, you would skip this mission. Don't. Do not do that in all gold medals. I almost did, and I would have regretted that hard. Because if you skip a single mission and don't get an S rank on it, especially if you can't go back to it like this one, since it's a story mode mission, you will lose a lot of time. You won't be able to finish the category. So I'm very glad that I didn't decide to skip this mission. As you can see, fairly short mission, but because of the load times, it's actually faster to skip it, typically. That might not be the case, actually, when we get, if and when we get Xbox Series X backwards compatibility. It might be faster to do something else instead, just to do the mission. But yeah, that's a very simple mission. It is like Metal Gear Solid, except with a small rodent. It's a very simple pattern, AI pattern. You can just go to the right, wait for a few seconds, then the entrance will clear, and then we go. Also, this game does not have backwards compatibility on Xbox One either. This game is in fact only playable on 360 and PS3. So when I say you can use almost anything to telethrow, I mean almost anything, including that shovel right there. Which is quite incredible. So I can use that shovel... Oh, this game... That was a weird camera angle. So that shovel is really useful because you can just push it against the... You can push it directly against the box in front of it, and it will align up in a good angle, and you can just defeat the... you can just telethrow off it that way. We use it to get to the end of the stage in no credits warp, but here we do need to get some silver medals. There are also certain ring boxes which are activated by destroying these various boxes. And I should also mention when we got the Heart of Wind. We got something called the Heart of Wind earlier. And so silver, as I mentioned earlier, has something called Ellie's. This is essentially a mechanic of the stun slap move. The stun slap move is very strange in this game. It can maintain momentum of anything as silver if you do it on the last frame. So, if I use a hover and then hold the X button 2 frames after I let go of A, the game's going to go, oh, you've been hovering, continue to hover. You'll have the same momentum, but you'll fall. So you'll have the same forward momentum, as I mean to say. This same mechanic applies to the teleport dash. So if I just press X on the 9th frame after I teleport dash, I'll be able to maintain my teleport dash momentum, which allows me to go really, really fast. While it is a single frame, it's honestly not as scary as it seems or sounds, because it is the same frame every time. And it's not an instant input, it is a delayed input, so you need to wait like 0.15 seconds for it to activate. I typically double tap A and then flick my my thumb up into the X button in order to do it. You'll get used to it with time, and it is a fairly consistent thing once you get the timing down. That being said, it doesn't make it easy. It still can rear its ugly head at times. And speaking of rearing its ugly head, this part. Oh, this part. So I'm going to stun this enemy, throw it to that enemy, because that will force it to stun, and that basically is the way I avoid getting hit. This is one of the stages where I definitely need to get all the rings. If I avoid a single ring, I'm going to potentially, if I like lose my rings, I risk not getting an S rank. This should be an S rank. I should have also gotten all the silver medals, but I'm a bit worried I didn't. Ooh. Hey, thank you for the raid, Zorn. We have a lot of people raiding in today. So, let's see. Did I get all the silver medals? I know I got all the gold medals. I'm pretty certain I did. There is one silver medal that I'm unsure of. I did. Okay. Cool. Oh, am I fine? Are we good? Is it back now? Okay, yeah. Sorry, my microphone can be a little bit weird. I'm actually going to unplug it and replug it in.
I won't.
Test. I'm using a Samsung G Track Pro. I'm gonna restart that for a bit. I did that kind of wrong. I also did that wrong, but whatever. I'm very sorry about the mic there. Anyway, as I was getting into, this is a Shadows fight. So this is another rival fight. Unlike the main fights, these bosses don't have invincibility frames, so you can just throw anything at them for as long as you want. There are limitations to that, of course. Namely being, will everything hit at once, which is not what you want. Whoa, that's a pretty good shadow, though. Sorry for concentrating for a bit there. Basically, you're just trying to use as many of the barrels of shadow at once. It can be really finicky. Shadow can go from one end to another without really just being like... It can be as quick, depending upon whether or not the barrels will launch in other places or other areas, as like 30 seconds, or it can be as long, if Shadow really doesn't like you, as a minute 15. That was on the better end of the spectrum, to be honest. Although the resets there didn't really help too much. Just to make sure, microphone's good now? Just making sure before I continue on with talking about Aquatic Base. Like, no weirdness, no really loud sound, nothing like that. Cool. Okay, so Aquatic Base is one of my favorite stages in the All Gold Medals run. Because we just break the surface of everything. So normally you're supposed to play a Shadow here, but we don't do that. In fact, we're actually going to use one of our first Death Warps. So I mentioned earlier that in the game, if you collect a silver medal, it will be collected no matter what you do. Even if you like save after, it will be permanently collected, which means practicing for this category can be really frustrating. So I'm going to hit a checkpoint over there. I've gotten one silver medal thus far. I'm going to align a box like this right against the surface of the cage. If I teleport dash like that, I can just clip right through, which skips the enemies which don't spawn. Now, I need to be very careful here not to hit any checkpoints. If I hit a single checkpoint, this risks losing the strat I was using. So I'm just going to go over here, SETD. Look at this teleport dash, everyone. Because we skipped the shock bracelet, I can hold my momentum there, and look at how fast it goes. I love this 14-year-old fast man. Boy from the future. That's 3. I think now is a good time to die, probably. Yeah, that seems good. So that's 3 of the silver medals. The remaining 2 are in this section. And since we hit the checkpoint, we death warp to it. And we have the perfect cycle for lasers. These lasers will be reset to a very specific cycle if we death warp here, which makes this super consistent and fast. The 5th medal is in here. Just going to clip through this door.
Hey.
Down to here. And there you go. That's all 5 medals in this area. I'm just going to clip around through here, defeat these enemies. Oh. And there you go. That's the first section of Aquatic Base. Quite a fun stage to go through. The routing there is super unique, because it's supposed to be like, you know, it's supposed to be like a maze-like stage where you swap between characters and like, I don't know how you're ever going to do this. And the game doesn't realize that you're basically an all-powerful god as Silver, so you can just break everything. 6 medals up here. And yeah, the SETD is super useful because in Sonic 06, pretty much you just need the right geometry and speed to clip through anything. So I can just use an SETD there and get this medal, clip through like that, and ignore all the enemies, and it's all good. Aquatic Base is what I like to call an auto S-rank stage. The speed that you'll do from just completing this as fast as possible will give you an S-rank automatically. The time bonus is high, in other words. So I don't need to worry too much about score. I can just go through the stage with, you know, the speed I would like to use. I'm going to wait here because I'm a little bit uncertain about this laser cycle. There is the medal over here to my left. Gonna go over here, get this one up just for safety's sake since we lost one earlier. I'm going to SETD to here, open the door. The final silver medal of this area is back behind this pillar.
Let's start by getting rid of them.
Can someone... do we have a moderator on here? This person's spamming. Please, please, like, time them out. If not, I can get to it at the end. I'm going to talk about, because 06, you have a lot of free time from the load screens. So, what I'm doing here for combat at the end, you can notice that there are these birds, these purple birds. I think they're called takers, technically. If they attack and then get stunned, you can just push anything up against them, and they'll despawn. Which includes the worms you pick up, which is quite funny. And there we go. That's the end of Aquatic Base. Should be with all the ones. And here we go. Told you, 06 is great because you can just time anyone out. You can interact with your chat in the middle of the run. Smile. That should have been everything. Yeah, I heard 3, so that's good. Nice. I don't know how many silver medals I have. I think I have 71. I realized I didn't add them properly. 56.
Hey.
Trying to think of what it is. I don't remember the silver medal count. This isn't good. I think it's 71. Maybe not, though, but that's okay. I just need to know that there are 17 in this area, so... Normally here you're supposed to do mission 14. Instead of doing mission 14 immediately, we're actually going to go around and get some of the silver medals throughout the castle town. The remaining 17. So, these 3, I'm going to collect first. There's one underneath there. There's the second one in the air here. And I'm going to use an SETD to get over to this area. Oh, just barely missed that. Let's see if I can go up to it a different way. That sucks, but... I might just do the mission now and come back for that. Actually, no, I need to get the silver medal, because that's the routing I normally do. Let's hit the spring. And go over like here. And now we can get the silver medal. That's a total of 3 of 17 that we need in this area.
Hey.
And there we go, that's mission 4 starting. Yeah, this is the right amount. I do glitch exhibitions sometimes. I usually do glitch exhibitions in the submissions I do. This is a fairly long category, so I don't think I would submit an additional incentive that wouldn't be done like in the middle of the run. For instance, like read a manual from the Sonic 06, read a line from the Sonic 06 manual for every $50 someone donates. I wouldn't probably do something in addition to this category specifically, just because there is a lot of stuff to do in this one already. Anyways, the first mission that we're going to do in this Mission Medal Marathon, as I have to call it, is Mission 4, which is actually one of my favorite missions. This is the airplane tournament. The plot to this mission is that man we were talking to is actually a ghost. He died in a plane crash trying to do this competition, which apparently involved orange rings at very close to roof distance, which doesn't seem safe. But he wants us, someone he barely knows, to, you know, make up for it and redeem his soul in the race. And so what we're going to do is we need to get all the capsules and rings in this area by teleport dashing through them. It can be a bit finicky doing this mission sometimes, because if you miss a single capsule even, that will not allow you to complete the mission. Solid, though. So I can just talk over to, talk to him again. He's going to be rested and well done. Thank you, Renzo. I'm glad we could help your soul come to peace. It's a... I don't get the purpose of this mission, but it's funny.
Perfect.
Alright, so we've gotten 3 of the 17. We're gonna get another 3 again. So in Sonic 06, actually, no language has a text advantage. So if you play in English, if you play in Spanish, French, German, Italian, or Japanese, all of them will have the same speed relative to text. There's no difference in that regard. And yeah, the silver medal here, I'm going to die. Don't worry, the silver medal is collected, so that's all that matters. Go up here. I'm going to collect this silver medal to my left, and then another one to my... sorry, this silver medal to my right, and then one to my left. Just hover like this. Cool. Then I'm going to go back up by this to get a silver medal to my left, and that is a total of 3 more, so we have 6 of the 17 remaining. And then we gotta do this mission, mission 5.
Hey.
So that's a total of 77 medals, that sounds about right. This is Protect the Coastline. It is a combat mission, much like the other ones we've seen before. Except, we can't stun the enemies at all because, A, we don't have the shock bracelet, so... Sorry. B, the enemies are at a far enough distance because they're supposed to be like, you know, you're actually on the coastline. So you have to attack them from afar. The best way to do so is actually just to use their own weapons against them. So I'm going to just wait here for them to shoot at me, and they should give me enough each batch to defeat all of them at once, within just one set of I guess, ammo, if I want to call it anything. These ones give a lot as well. They take 10 hits each, or 3 hits each for a total of 9 hits as a whole. I'm going to get a ring, though, just to be safe. Because I don't want to die. No! Oh, this isn't good. I gotta play this safe, everyone. Okay, can I play this safe without dying from explosions? I could, but oh gosh, that was scary. So yeah, invisible walls are a common feature in the missions, I should mention. You can clip out of them, but I didn't want to lose my ammo. Let's see if we get an S-rank still. Yes, okay. Very safely there.
Perfect.
Yeah, sometimes the missions can go better than others. It's not been a good mission day for me today, but that's still fine. They're still funny and fun. I honestly have a lot of enjoyment out of these missions because almost no one sees them in most RTA runs. And yet, they have some interesting mechanics and features to them outside of the ones that are even normally required in the story. So I'm going to get on this barrel here. I'm going to try for another barrel telethrow. Let's see if I can get to it. Dang it. I think I could still make something work here, though. Hey. Hey. Recovery. So that's exactly what I want to do. Again, you can telethrow off anything so long as the object is steep enough and you can lift it. Look at my beautiful barrel boy. And there you go. This is one of my personal favorite missions, the stolen bronze medals. So you notice the silver medals are everywhere. You notice the gold medals are the big prize. Where are those bronze medals? This kid was so good at getting third in everything he ever did that he collected 10 of them, and then he lost them. Mikhail right here. He's just lost them. And so obviously the most reasonable thing is that they've just been floating at random points and roofs and houses in Soliana Castle Town. Because, you know, where else would a thief put a bunch of stolen goods other than just on random rooftops for a 14-year-old psychokinetic hedgehog to collect? So you need to get all 10 of them. Basic gist is use your SETDs wisely. I am not using them at all because I'm missing the frame. There we go. There is a set path with these springs and whatnot. You can largely ignore it, and if you do this properly, let's see. Yeah, you can just fly over to the next one, like so. That's why I like this mission. If you do it right, you get those really cool-looking flies because of the SETD. Do it wrong, though, you can hover down for quite a while. It's a big risk, big reward sort of situation. Very good, actually. Getting both of those is the most vital, because those two SETDs can save a lot of time. The ones from the bell towers, because there's no quick way to get down to the ground. Especially on the second one. They actually just expect you to fall. And there you go. Yeah, most people don't even realize there's a bronze medal in 06. This is the only mission that uses them, ever. It's kind of weird in that regard, but I like it. And there we go, we've helped Mikhail, and that's another S rank. Another S rank pretty much solely from time.
Perfect.
Alright, so we've gotten a total now of 8 of 17 medals, silver medals in this area. I am going to go ahead and get 4 more. Or 3 more, my bad. My count's wrong. So the next one we have, come on, Silver, you know you want to go fast for me, is in the middle of this plaza. It's just in the air. And I missed it, unfortunately. Let me try that again. So you might be noticing when I'm double tapping A sometimes really quickly, Silver can like slide, stroke, glide on the ground. This is a teleslide. It's very easy to do this on like an incline, because you can just teleport dash into it and it works. But it can even work on flat ground if you double tap A within 2 frames of the first tap. So if you like double tap A and then double tap A really quickly right after, you're able to slide on the ground. It's not faster than SETD, of course, because you don't maintain it consistently and you slowly lose it from walking. But it's super useful in certain areas just to make movement, you know, quicker.
Hey.
This is Porta. He's actually quite a prolific NPC for any percent because this is what you get at mission select glitch from and then warp to the credits using. So that is a total of 1, 2, 3. Yep. Pretty sure that's 3. What I counted. Solely on a water target tournament.
Hey.
So this is another bit where I failed to mention this so far, but when I throw things as silver, you actually have to aim them slightly. Like, they will aim for certain targets, like ones that are nearby, but you still need to hold the direction towards something. And I was doing this throughout Iblis and into the other stages as well. But this is the mission where I think it stands out the most. Because you have all these small apples. Yeah, these are apples. They kind of look like oranges to me. They don't really look very apple-y when you pick them up with a psychokinesis, but... aiming is crucial here. So, knowing which apple will be thrown, which is kind of just, you know, a random guess, because there are so many small ones. And aiming in the right direction. Oh, there we go. You can see sometimes if you're just out of range, even if you're holding the right direction, what's going to happen is they're just going to go, sorry, I'm just going to throw directly forward instead. I prefer that. But you don't want that. So knowing how to aim and use your optics properly is pretty vital to this mission. Other than that, it's an automatic S-Wing from time alone.
Perfect.
Next up is the mission, probably, unlike you not remembering this mission, Black Doom, everyone will remember this mission because everyone remembers this NPC. The next mission is Sonic Man. And I guess they want to be funny because they're like, ha ha ha, Silver is so slow, how is he going to beat Sonic Man? Sonic Man is very slow compared to Silver. I've gotten all the soul medals in this area, so I don't actually need to do anything else. I can just go direct to Sonic Man.
Hey.
Do you think you will beat... Sorry, do you think you beat... Do you think you beat? Grammar in this game is fantastic. Awesome sentence structures. He returns. He's coming back, because you're actually supposed to do this mission as well in Sonic's story. And even though they're both NPCs are here, like the same location in Sonic's story, Sonic's story's race takes place in New City, despite it starting here. And yet Silver's takes place in Castletown, which makes more sense. So this is a time mission. Use teleslides and SETDs where possible. Teleslides are advantageous here because they regain the action gauge. And as mentioned before, the action gauge is what limits every single thing as Silver. Ooh, can I get a sub 20? Yeah. That was pretty good pace at the very beginning. I was getting all those ETDs, and you just go around like that. There you go. Sonic Man is done. We defeated him. The evil is gone. Also really important, you don't want to mash X when you're talking to an NPC, like at the very beginning there. Otherwise, you risk breaking out of the mission. What do I mean by breaking out? So Silver can hold a stun move, and if you like frame buffer that, which is what you're doing if you mash X, it will break out of the conversation, and it'll actually lose time in this situation. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do that's pretty cool in those scenarios, not in this category at least. But we do have something quite interesting in the 100 gold medals, which is all stories, all gold medals, which involves Mission 6. If you break out at that point, the game, for some reason, puts you in a hub world with all the silver medals from all the stories. So quite literally, you have access to every single silver medal as Shadow, as Sonic, and as Silver, all in Silver's hub world, and they count. They count for the other stories, so if you collect them there, then start the mission after you're done going around that area in what we call Silver's Silver Medal Collection, or Silver's Silver Medal Adventure. You collect like 30, 40 silver medals right then and there. It's quite fantastic, honestly. Speaking of quite fantastic, catch the Soliana boys. Capture the 6 children within the time limit. I don't like that text. I don't like that text. But yeah, we have to play tag with these kids. And interestingly enough, depending upon the route you go, the kids will spawn in slightly different ways. So I want to tag that kid to my right, or to my left first, because then this boy, Anakin 1, will, you know, stay over there instead of going into like the pier area. And that's exactly what I want. I don't want them getting stuck within water or in very tight corridors. That is consistent if you do it like that. Knowing where to use teleslide, so I can just teleslide up these instead of ETDing. Just going around the city here. We've captured 3 of them. We need to capture a few more. Silver's walk speed, as you can tell, is pretty slow, which can make this pretty difficult if you didn't know about the teleport dash or didn't have the teleport dash. I don't even know if this is possible without the teleport dash. Even if you're not using the ETD, the teleport dash would be a very handy tool. That was pretty good. I think that was only like 5 seconds off IL world record. Cool. We did it. And that is the final main mission in Swing on a Castle Town. The final non-story mission, I should say. So pretty slick.
Perfect.
Yeah, missions can have a fair bit of variance in them, which is why you've seen my splits go up and down and up and down. It's very hard to get really consistent at missions. I did a lot of missions in ILs when I was, starting in this game. And it's still very difficult to nail a mission the same way each time because there can be some really finicky stuff, but I like the missions. Anyways, first things first, I'm going to go under here, collect this, and then die. That's 1 silver medal. Then I'm going to go over to here, pick up this barrel, and get to here. Another silver medal. There's a silver medal to our left. This is going to lag quite a bit. For some reason, this people like to refer this as the food court. I don't know why. I mean, there's a bunch of tables, but no shops. Just looks like apartments. There's a silver medal here. This one can be very laggy, as you can see. Gonna go over to here. 1 more silver medal. 2 more silver medals in this area. There is 1 over here. Tag it like so. And then another one in the center of the area here. And there we go. All the silver medals. Whoa. I did not expect the camera change to be that erratic. That's all the silver medals in this area. We don't get a gold medal until we get all the silver medals in all hub worlds, though. There are an additional 5.
Hey.
There are an additional 5 in Forest and New City. We've gotten 2 of the ones in New City. We're going to get the other 3 later. And we've gotten none of the ones in Forest as of yet. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. I think that is the right amount. It seemed like 18. I have a miscount somewhere.
Hey.
That's okay. I have a miscount somewhere. I think it's 88. It's fine. Anyways, Anna. So this is one of the required story missions. We can't skip this mission no matter how hard we try. So instead, I'm going to push Anna away from this bench. She did not get stuck. Good. If she gets stuck on that bench, you waste a lot of time. So this is supposed to be an escort mission, but we don't make it an escort mission because Anna's going to be on a set path if there are no enemies, and she'll just walk on that path. But if there are enemies behind her, she'll speed up. And so what we're doing here is we're going to spawn in 2 enemies to force her to speed up and get through this quicker. That saves about 6, 7, 8 seconds of what we could normally do otherwise. So I'm going to wait for this to spawn in, spawn that enemy in. Just going to go forward, and there we go. That is the Anna mission. But this is not enough, actually, for the S rank. We'll get like a B rank if we do this. Also, notice those candy cane, those dentist posts. Yeah, they're 500 points for some reason. They're 500 points. The big worms, those enemies, are 300. So defeating dentistry is more value to 06, according to 06's laws and rules and regulations, which are the only laws and rules and regulations I abide by. Dentistry is worse than the devil. So that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna hang out here and wait for Anna to finish, though. Nice. Okay, 123. This is one of the other missions where I recommend just mashing A and B. B is actually a button that doesn't have any use in 06 except scrolling through text. Interestingly enough, the only use of that button is scrolling through text. Alright, so now we are here, right before what we would do called the trials. In No Credits Warp, we would actually skip the trials by doing a bunch of LEs up some walls. Fortunately for some, and I guess slightly unfortunately for me as one of the only people who can do trial skip, we don't do that in this mission, in this mode rather, this category. Because we need to complete all the missions in order to get S ranks in all of them. So, we're going to first do mission 2, which is like mission 4. It's a ring-based mission. Superman 64ing it up. And then we're going to get some silver medals, and then we're going to do the trials. I mentioned earlier that there was a trial that a single combo will determine whether or not you can do the faster strat. And that stage is coming up very soon. That is known as Mission 16. So Mission 16 has 2 different strategies. I will try for the faster strategy and see if I can get it. If I don't, I will just play the stage normally, because that guarantees an S rank. But you can get an earlier S rank if you play it really tight. This mission is pretty self-explanatory. So again, there's been multiple different good points for donations in this run, I should mention. The Amy mission, but I've just been explaining everything just to show you all what the run is like. There are like really good points for donations throughout all this, and I would just call them out normally. But if I wanted to mention some good donation points, certain missions are pretty good. I think Mission 5 is a pretty good mission for that. I think, not just Mission 5, you have Mission... everyone wants to see Mission 15 and Mission 7. Sonic Man and the kids are, like, necessary ones to just have people see and watch. That might be IL World Record? That was really good. I don't know if IL World Record's like a 33 or a 34, so someone might want to look up the IL World Record for this stage. I think it might be 34. That might be IL World Record. Maybe.
Perfect.
Maybe? I have no idea, actually. I'll have to look that up after the run. That was a very good mission, too. But yeah, Amy mission's a good point for donations. Mission 5 is a good point for donations. I'd argue the latter half of White Acropolis is probably good for donations as well. Yeah, there are some good points for donations still. And I would like to call them out in an actual run. Although I just want to give all of the information as I can in this submission video. So, first medal is over here. We're not actually going to get all the silver medals. By the way, this is why I love the SCTD. Oh gosh, silver goes fast all on its own and just breaks the game. So yeah, there are going to be 2 silver medals we're going to collect in this at this point in the run. There are a total of 5 in this hub world, but we're actually going to come back to this hub world after the hard modes are completed. And why would we do that, you might think? It's because we're going to actually get the shock bracelet later. And we're going to use it for 3 missions because those missions are all combat-based. And combat without the shock bracelet is very difficult. Okay. This mission, I am going to try my best to go for the faster strat. The time bonus here is very tight. It's not immediately an S rank if you just, like, finish the stage as early as possible. So you need to be careful here not to go too fast without dating enough enemies. Which kind of sucks, but... Let me go here. I have 5 rings. And now here comes the combo. I'm going to ready myself right here. Let these enemies collect around me. And see what I get. This is not looking good right now. Yeah, okay. So I tried for the faster strat that would involve getting a combo there and then clipping through the gate the much same way we did in Aquatic Base. But the game did not want to give me that. So unfortunately, I'm just going to complete the stage the normal way, which is defeating all the enemies. Wait for these ones to throw their balls. This is not very good. I'm gonna get some more rings just to be safe. Don't like this. Yeah, it's really annoying when you don't have the shock bracelet because, again, you could stun all these enemies in one fell swoop if you have the shock bracelet, but we skip it. We have to skip it. Otherwise, this will be really, really slow. Okay, so I almost beat my old record there. That's funny. This should still be an S rank, though, I think. I got enough rings, I think, to guarantee it. Oh. Just barely, but thank God I did.
Perfect.
We're probably gonna lose a little bit of time, but my my world record actually did not get mission 16. I had to go back to redo it. I attempted for the fast strat and was just a few seconds too slow, and I got like a 29,960, which is what I was trying to avoid.
Hey.
So in marathons like that, that's when I would make the executive decision, like, do I try for it, do I not? Because going for it and failing can lose a lot of time.
Hey.
Anyways, this mission, this would also be a good point for donations, because this mission is super simple. You go right again, and then you go left. This is memory. Yes, memory. I remember when my brain was just a bunch of blue portals. Yep, I feel significantly challenged right now. Oh my god. I just... I've never overshot the portal.
Hey.
That's a first. I think it's an automatic S-Rank, though. Yeah. Okay, good. That was so funny.
Perfect.
Oh, that was great. Imagine going so fast you avoid your memories. And so we got one more mission left, until we have to revisit the missions later. So we're almost at the end game of the story. We have this mission, which is the Test of Heart. It is the Test of Heart because apparently it takes a lot of heart to use other enemies' objects to attack them, which is exactly what we've been doing. I get kind of confused by like the premise of this mission, but I guess you would have the shock bracelet, and so you could still use that. And oftentimes you would use enemy projectiles more often than like stray objects on enemies. So I would use like their own bullets on them. But then the game's like, hey, that's the challenge. I'm like, that's exactly what I've been doing. There's a leader here on the yellow one. You could just stun and then throw. Score doesn't really matter. You just need to complete everything pretty quick. 1, 2, 3. Get a lot of bullets from this, because you want to use the bullets on the remaining enemies as much as possible. I aim for the white robots first because they take a single hit, and so this is the quickest way to defeat them. I then can get these enemies. These are golems. They are not vulnerable until a certain point. But if you attack them with their last weapon, they will instantly die. And that was pretty solid overall. If you attack them with the last weapon they throw, whether it be their armor or a ball, they should, sometimes they don't, but they should instantly die, no matter what their health is. Otherwise, if you don't manage to pick up that object, you can go ahead and defeat them by stunning them when they're vulnerable. They're only vulnerable if they've shot both their weapons. And if you don't get them within that, they're going to regenerate that, and then you can just try again. And that is more or less all the missions at this point in the run. We're going to come back to missions later. They are not done for now, but we are done with them for the time being. And so now I'm going to take an eagle. It's a cool eagle. I'm not going to go to Kingdom Valley quite yet, though. I didn't get the SCTD. There's a silver medal over here. And because, you know, as I mentioned, game registers you've collected even after you die, so I just can get this and respawn right at the beginning again, hit the eagle again, go on. There you go. That's the last hub we'll see for a little bit. We're going to go back to the hub worlds at the end of the run, though. So, they're not out of our way yet. Not quite yet. Trying to count the silver medals we'd have here. 10, 10, 110. I think I am at 94, actually. Yeah, I'm at 94. Wait, no. No, I'm not. I'm at 84, actually. I don't know where my numbers went. My numbers were off. Anyways, you can telethrow on this rock up to here. The first silver medal is in this area. So, you get that silver medal like that. I'm then going to open the gate, go back through here, stand on this, and SCTD to another section. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna restart that. That didn't go as well as I hoped, so I'm gonna stand on the rock like here. Gonna telethrow it a few times. Then I'm gonna SETD like that. Around. Hit this silver medal. Go through like this. Hover up. And you can get through this gate by just clipping through like that instead of having to defeat any enemies or open it normally. If you open it normally, you can potentially risk a lot of damage from the enemies that spawn. But you can avoid spawning in the enemies that way. We now have a bit over here. There's another silver medal for a little bit, so I can just go directly to the next section, which should be coming up. Ooh, am I gonna make it? Let's see. Just using Ellie's to recover. It can suck if you miss an SCTD off a box like that. We're gonna see it later though in Flame Core. Hopefully I'll get it because it skips a very long, technically unnecessary enemy combat section. But we'll see how it has to go. Okay, so these spike balls up here, just ignore them. They physics themselves into existence and then physics themselves out. I'm then gonna clip through here, like so, and then hover over to this staircase. There are no more silver medals back in that area, but there's a silver medal to our right here. But instead of going right because that's a little bit risky, I'm just gonna clip through here. Gonna get on this box, lift it, and jump until I hit here. Then I can go around. This avoids spawning in the enemies that normally spawn here, which means I don't have to worry about having things damaged. The fourth silver medal is right here. Pick this up. You can stand on the side of the rock like here to telethrow it. Let's jump like so. Lift up. Throw twice. Oh, that angling was tight. I'm gonna SCTD off to here to get the final silver medal, and that's all 5. Done it. Sick. Alright. And I can just finish the section. Gonna get some of these rings, because I don't want to have no rings. And there you go. That's all 5. I need to remember my count. If everything is correct at this point, I should have 84. Or 89 now. Very strange amount. Sometimes it's very difficult to keep up with the silver medals I have, because I'm concentrating so hard on the run and then forget to input them, but this isn't normally required. Like, we check over to make sure we have everything at the very end of the run, to make sure it's a valid run, of course. Okay, so in this section we need to do some combat as silver. There are some useful objects around us. And we have another golem, so we can just use him like that. There we go. Now we're Sonic. What? Sonic? In my silver story? What? No, can't happen. No. This isn't real. I'm experiencing things. No, you are right. We have a Sonic section here in Silver's story, and this is why we have completed Sonic up to 93%. Sonic at this point has gems. And the gems are super useful in this section because they break everything. We specifically have the blue gem, red gem, purple gem, sky gem, and white gem. I'm going to use the red gem right now, and we specifically buy the red gem for this category, because the red gem slows down time by half. For everything except Sonic, meaning we can really quickly and easily defeat enemies that way, without risking losing rings. I'm going to keep on using the red gem to avoid losing an S rank. I'm then going to use the sky gem over here, homing attack, shoot it up. The sky gem basically takes you to wherever it lands. And if you are underneath something and you throw the sky gem up, the game's gonna go, yeah, I'm just gonna give you a lot of upward momentum to reach that. And so you can just skyrocket into the air and go over the invisible wall that normally protects us from playing as Sonic in this area, and play as Sonic in this area. There was one silver medal up here, there's another one down here. That is a total of 3 in this section so far. There are 5 total, so we're just gonna get the 4th one up here, and we're gonna use the purple gem. Fun fact about these gems, you notice that Silver has had an action gauge, right? That flashing blue bar at the bottom, and every one of Silver's objects and like mechanics are limited by it. Not Sonic's gems. A single typo in the code prevents Sonic actually from using his gems as intended, so the gems never drain the action gauge, and therefore you can use them infinitely. A single typo in the code. It is the same typo in a few places in the code, and that just prevents you from being limited, which is kind of incredible. I'm using the red gem again to slow down time. Before I hit the goal ring, I need to make sure to go over here and get the final silver medal, and that looks good to me. There we go. That is Kingdom Valley Silver, and that's an S rank, and all the silver medals. Let's go.
That was incredible.
Okay, so we're approaching the end game for the story mode, but we're not done the run yet. We do have a fair bit to go with the hard mode revisits and the remaining missions that we have yet to complete. But before all that, we have possibly my least favorite stage in the game, which is Flame Core. Flame Core ends the run for some reason, because they really don't want me to enjoy the end game of this run. Flame Core is my least favorite stage in Sonic 06, I should mention. My throat was getting dry there. Sorry about that. Flame Core can be finicky as a stage. It can be frustrating as well. Most stages in 06 I wouldn't label as frustrating. This stage is very frustrating. Not so much in normal mode, but in hard mode in particular. Hard mode, Flame Core is a scary stage. So first silver medal is up on this platform. You're supposed to do like a chain of springs thereafter, but because we have such fast abilities in the silver story, I'm just going to go like this, and I can go over to the next silver medal. I need to defeat all the enemies in this area to get the next silver medal, so I'm going to take this golem's ball and attack him with it. There we go. And I'm going to use a box to defeat some of these birds. If some of them got close to the walls or something, I'd be able to stun slap them, and they would instantly despawn for the same reason that Aquatic Base's combat works. This stage is actually, although it might seem really complicated, the S-Rank is really easy at least. It's a speed stage. You can just go through it. If you get under like 6.5 minutes, it's an automatic S-Rank. So we're just going to go for time largely rather than score. But we also need to make sure we get all the silver medals, and some silver medals unfortunately do involve combat. Okay, so I'm going to get up here. There's an invincibility capsule on the spring section, which does normally help in Silver Story if you had to play through this section. But because the silver medal is back here, we do waste a little bit of it. I'm going to try to use it as much as possible, though. I think I am making it. Wow, I did not expect to make that. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a little bit here to regain my action gauge. Going to go up here, get the 4th silver medal. And now we have one of the hardest skips in all gold medals, I think. At least from what I've experienced and feel. So, you might notice there are these explosive boxes. They explode on contact with any sort of fire. So all the fiery enemies do make me a bit nervous here. I'm going to lift it like this, hopefully SETD after. And then lightly tap to get back in bounds, using LEs to regain my action gauge, and there we go, everyone. That is really difficult because you have one shot. If you miss it, you have to fight the enemies over there. But because I got it, I skipped all that combat, and I get the final silver medal of the stage. There we go. Mike is doing this again. Wonderful. I will fix my mic on the next load screen. Sorry about that. But there you go. That is the first section of Flame Core done. I know the mic's bad. I know the mic's bad. I know the mic's bad. I'm sorry. I can't fix it at the moment. Yeah, we can just finish the stage like so. Okay, should be fixed now. I have no idea why this microphone does this. I've looked up everything online about this microphone, and no one else has reported this, just me. I do apologize for that, everyone. I don't know why my microphone does that. I feel really bad. I just can't control that. It literally just does it on its own. I unplugged it and then plugged it back in. I think it's a power issue, perhaps? Something weird with, like, USB power. But I'm not too certain. Anyways, ooh, that would have been really slick if I got that SCTD, but no. Again, time is the only thing that really matters here, so we're just going to aim for time over anything else. This is perhaps one of my least favorite silver medals in the game, though. So in order to get the silver medal, I need to defeat all these birds. Which is easier said than done. Huh? How did I get hit there? And there you go. That's all the enemies defeated, and therefore you get a silver medal. That's 7th, I think. There are a total of 3 more. Gonna stand on this orb, and I'm going to telefling. This is the basis of the tele-launch, which we haven't really seen in this run, but the tele-launch is essentially a trick that allows you to get massive height really quickly. Basically a telefling is, you can pick up objects from afar while on top of them, and the game tries to set the object, like, away from silver at that point, but because it's pushing away... Oh gosh. Ooh, sorry, I was a little bit nervous there. Because the game is pushing the object away from you, as you are on top of it, the game's just gonna, like, go on and on and on, continuing on and on until you fall off the object. Which means I can, once in that state, I can throw it. And if I throw it properly, that means I can lift it up again while it's in its thrown state. And at that point in time, the game then goes, okay, you are going real fast. You're going to go really fast in the direction that you move this object in. And because lifting it moves it up, we basically get to get massive vertical height on an instant, which is super useful in Kingdom Valley, because that section, which took like 2 minutes to do in all gold medals here, takes like 13 seconds otherwise with the tele-launch. Anyways, this is the power of Iblis! We love him. I'm gonna wait for this next cycle to go through. I'm gonna jump, go around. I want to avoid getting hit, although it doesn't really matter. I must defeat this orb in order to get the final silver medal in this section, which is right here. There we go. Oh. Hello? Game, what the heck was that? What was that? I was pushed underneath the floor. 555 is incredible for all gold medals, honestly. That is a really smooth flame core, and as you can see, automatic S rank. That's gonna gold. This is gonna gold, everyone. Very nice. That was a fantastic flame core, in spite of my computer deciding to become a ZX Spectrum. I'm very sorry about that, really. That's something outside of my control. I might look into getting a USB power hub. I think that might be the issue. I thought it was the wires. It's not the wires. It's something weird with this microphone. Anyways, Iblis Phase 3. After all this stuff, what did you want the final boss to be? Did anyone say random RNG fight? Because that's what we're going to get. Random RNG fight. So there are these Cocoa Puffs, as we had in the first phase. And they come in batches like this. And I basically need them not to explode. Okay, 4 hits. 4 hits right now means I have a 220 in the bag. There are certain set cycles that Iblis Phase 3 will give you, depending upon how many hits you get from luck. Why I say luck is that these target you at certain ways, but it's really unpredictable to ensure you're going to have them for long enough. 1, 2. The way I'm moving around is also to respawn these middle 4. These middle 4 we used earlier, you may have seen, but we can use them again if we just spawn them in again. Ah, dang it. That should be enough for a 220, which is acceptable in my book. Iblis Phase 3 can range anywhere from 1 minute 25, known as the stuff, to 1 to 3 minutes and 40 seconds if you get no hits from luck. It's quite the boss. It is quite the boss. Fortunately, this is an acceptable time. 220 is the basis, I find. That is acceptably good, and I take 220s most of the time. If you get 8 hits from luck, that will be a 1.5x range, which is a 20-second improvement just from a few different hits from luck. I'm now going to go ahead and facepalm him. That's another 5 points of damage. I'm going to go over to the left here. There's actually a puff that will fall off, but we can pick it up, like so. And then throw it like that. And there we go. This is enough to use the God Puff to defeat Iblis Phase 3 and end this section. So I don't split yet for this one, and this is not the end of the run because we still have to do more stuff for all gold medals that we have yet to do. Fortunately, we have no unnecessary revisits, which is going to save us some good time. Not a single unnecessary revisit in this entire run, which is great. This is what I mean when I say if I play it safe in certain instances, even though it might be a bit slower, I will make sure to get a run that doesn't lose a significant amount of time. So that's exactly what I'm saying when I refer to things like that.
Perfect.
All right, I'm gonna split on the metal here once it's done. That's 34 medals, so we still got quite a few. We got 22 left. And you might wonder, how are there 22 left? Because we have 16. We have 16 in total from the hard mode revisits, and then a 17th one from getting all S ranks and all acts. And then we have another one from getting all the silver medals. We have another one from getting all the missions completed. And so this is a bit of a grind in some instances, but what I like about the hard mode revisits in Silver's story particularly, we get to see the early game stages with the ETDs. So, if you thought telethrowing was broken, watch out. You got telethrowing and ETDs together at last. Scary stuff. How fast you go as Silver. There is no limit anymore. No limit to our powers that we have here. So I mentioned that we skip Blaze in any percent and in no credits warp. We skip Blaze here as well, but we do it with this. I'm going to do for a slightly riskier strat. Okay, I should be able to make it to this. Ooh, I think I can still make this work though, if I just get on a ball like this and telethrow this way. Bit slow, but that's okay. I'd rather live than die. Huh? 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 Okay, I'm gonna restart that stage. I had no idea what happened there. I think the ball just spawned through the floor. Okay, so I can get on the rock like this. Ah, man, this game does not want to help me right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over here and do this. Unfortunate that this has been taking a little bit more time than I would like, but that's okay. One. Are we gonna do it again? Two. I almost was over that final load zone, but fortunately we're not. Yeah, so the hard mode doesn't really have so many. Honestly, compared to a lot of other stuff in 06, the hard mode is kind of, I would argue, a bit pointless. The layouts aren't significantly different than normal mode. While there is DLC to do very hard, which is not required for this category, by the way. You don't need to do the DLC S ranks. They aren't part of the category, so you don't need to worry about them. But the hard modes are necessary to get all the gold medals.
I need to pull it together.
It's just so weird though that they have the hard modes in the game because they are very slightly different. It's like the differences of blue Gatorade. Like, you can sort of taste a difference, and I'm like, okay, this is a different experience, but it doesn't really feel too different. However, the biggest difference in our case is the fact that the hard modes have all of Silver's kit open to him, which is significant. So, for instance, here in Tropical Jungle, I'm going to try to go for an S rank. The time bonus here is actually higher than in the base normal mode. It's 46k, and it depletes at 40 points per second after that. So, I'm going to go for a really, really cool strat that I routed out right before this run. I also need to hold that for longer to get higher, oddly enough. I'm going to hit this. I'm gonna then tilt this. 2. Go left. Over to here. Attack this enemy. Get the combo from that. There you go. Those enemies are defeated instantly. Get these rings. Pull up this platform and then Telethrow on it. If I did that right, that should be enough to get me an S rank. Let's see. No! Come on, game! Come on! This is what I'm saying when sometimes the game does not like to be nice to me. 60 points off. If that platform broke, that would have been it. So we gotta go back into that stage. Tropical Jungle is mean. Tropical Jungle is very mean. Let's do that again! Oh, man. To think if I just had that platform break, or if I was 2 seconds faster, that would have been an S rank. Oh well. Happens. Let's try it again. 1, 2. I don't know about this. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna restart that. I was like, I don't know about how long that's taking. I'm gonna... Oh no, I wasted that. I ruined it. This is not gonna be an S rank anymore. That's my fault. Whoa. Restart that again? That's okay. So this is what really happens if you mess up some stuff in the point, but that's just a good point for donations. As I concentrate here trying to get the S rank. It can really hurt, honestly. It can hurt quite a bit if you fail the S rank. I'm gonna go for my backup method now. So this is slightly slower, but it does almost always guarantee me an S rank. So there's some points there. Good amount of rings. Gonna tilt over to the left here, and then hover. Jump. Oh, by the way, this gets still world record. I'm just saying. I lose about 7 minutes in my last stage. So if we just have a clean flame core, this gets still world record. Anyways, I'm gonna do the same combo as before. Although I need to make sure I'm being careful here not to lose my rings. I've never seen it get stuck in the cage. That's so beautiful. That's amazing. That's actually incredible. That's my favorite enemy in the entire game now. That was beautiful. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, this should be good. I think we're good on points. Let's see. Oh! I love you, Silver. Okay, there we go. I didn't know we could do that. I forced him up. Oh, I love this game. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Tropical Jungle is arguably one of the hardest stages, I would believe. Okay, Dusty Desert time. So, we've already done the S rank for Dusty Desert, but we've not done the silver medals yet. And this is crucial because I wanted to wait to do this stage until after I got the teleport dash. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the lift exploit to clip out of bounds and get into a room that is otherwise inaccessible. So we're gonna just jump up here, let it tilt on its side, get up here, over to here. Cool, I've gotten it. I'm gonna restart because it, you know, still maintains my collection. So that's 1 silver medal. Everyone in chat, feel free to count with me as we go through here. Want to make sure we have 10. Because we're only here for silver medals, nothing else. Throw that pot. Really nice throw right there. I avoided everything else and hit the thing I wanted to. 2.
There should be a switch somewhere.
Gonna teleport dash like this. Clip out of bounds like right here. Gonna wait to regain my action gauge, actually. Oh. I think my angle is off. There we go. Jump with some momentum, and then hold X. This is water skipping. Silver's stun slap basically reverses momentum on water. So you can then just skip across the stage like this. And this is normally Amy's section, as you're going to hear very soon. Thanks, Amy. Third silver medal over here. And this, hopefully I nail this. Let's see what I can do here. Very slick. Very nice. That is my favorite strat in all gold medals. We basically clip out of bounds using an SETD, and because of the camera shift at that point, it forces us to land on an out of bounds seam. And from there, if we SETD again, we can go back inbounds. 6. Gonna hover up to here, and we're gonna clip through this door, or this wall, because again, walls are just suggestions. Silver goes so fast, he can just do... Let's see if I can get it. Oh, come on. There we go. Into a later section of the stage. Very later, actually. Just pick up an enemy, stun it, drop it like this. Oh, come on. There you go. There's a silver medal there. Clip through this door. And we're almost done all the silver medals. We only got 3 left. This is my absolute favorite part of all gold medals. This one stage is incredibly fun. Clip through here, pick up this pop, go around. Try not to lose too many rings here with the stray bullets and whatnot. Actually, I was wrong. That was the 8th medal, not the 9th. That is the 9th. And we can just go through this corridor, skip the ball puzzle. We can use it another ETD to clip through the final door. Just gonna walk, chill moments. And there we go. That is Dusty Desert Silver Medals, done in 2 minutes 45 seconds. The best time we could have gotten in RTA if we did all the S rank and the silver medals at once would be like 4 minutes or something. So like 45 plus 245, even with the additional load, saves time. Now we have to do Dusty Desert Hard. This is just like what we did in the story mode. We basically just bring a pot out of bounds, except I can do something a little bit different because I have the teleport dash, the Heart of Wind. And so instead of having to do the pot or whatever, I can just clip through the billiards pocket that's at the bottom right. Go around like so. Wait for the next big one to come, and then push it through. Bam. And then we do the same setup as we did in the story mode. I need to make sure this pot is a bit too farther. I don't like how it's angled, so let me just try to correct it. That's better. That's better. Oh, never mind, never mind. You fooled. You could have fooled me, huh? Thinking you're so smart and clever, huh? Huh? Oh, wow. Pot's being mean to me, everyone. This pot's a jerk. I hate it. But basically, like, they'll eventually rotate in a certain way as soon as you hold them around. This is a safe S rank, but oh, I don't like this pot. Been very mean to me. And the thing is, if I don't have a good angle here, I can just SETD, unlike the previous one. And there we go. Not the cleanest, but not bad at all. It's an automatic S rank, though, as you can see. 119, 169. We got through it, and there we go. That's Dusty Desert done. Only got a few more stages left in hard mode. Next up is White Acropolis, which is probably one of the bigger changes, if I'm to be honest, from like its standard iteration, because instead of doing a bunch of Telethrows as silver, we can SCTD. Again, if we were able to get the Heart of Wind earlier in the run would be very different, because certain sections would be a lot faster, and there'd be a lot more recovery options. And hard mode gives us a glimpse into what that might look like if we had like a New Game Plus style mode. So, I'm going to avoid all the enemies here as Blaze, because I want to just go for time as Blaze. Oh, come on. And I need to do an AFC yet again at the end of the stage in order to skip the door. So, everyone come with me. Let's believe in the heart of the AFC, or something Yu-Gi-Oh related, I don't know. One of my mods will appreciate that, even though I have no idea what I'm saying. Smile. Two of my mods actually are Yu-Gi-Oh fans. So the AFC here, much like before, it is a 1-frame window. Gonna have to release X the moment after I jump. One more try. Nice. Skips having to do a bunch of combat at the bottom there. And so this is the major difference we get. So instead of going for this rock over here... Yeah, that's it. 3 clips, and you're out to here already. We're going to do the same sort of comboing as we mentioned, as we did in the previous one, because again, this is not an automatic S-rank stage. I'm going to pick up this enemy, and I'm going to try 2 chain combos. So if the game recognizes that you've like done a combo close enough to another one, it's going to give you additional points. So in this case, if I throw this right, there we go, 68,000 instead of the usual, like 3,000 and a bit. Just to be extra safe, I'm going to go up here and get some rings, even though I don't think I need them. And there we go. Use the rock once more. Stand at Seba's point. Telethrow. And bam! That's White Acropolis. Yep, good S rank. I'm glad I got the rings, otherwise I would not actually have, I don't think I would have gotten the S rank. Or I would have barely gotten it, so... Either way, good routing. Proud of myself, me. Almost to gold, not quite, but still time saved out of the way. Okay, next is Radical Train Hard. This section is pretty simple. So, Radical Train is also not an automatic S-rank stage. The time bonus here is like 44, 45 or so. I think it's 45, 46, more like 45, 46k. So, I'm needing to get rings. But what's the quickest way I can get rings? Or like any sort of points? Well, rings is a good option. And where are there a lot of rings? On the other side of the stage. So, I'm going to go as quick as possible to the other side of the stage using a shovel. Gonna go over this invisible wall. Just hold straight forward. And as soon as I get close to the end of the area, I'm going to do a downward telethrow. And there you go. Instantly close to the set of 20 rings. Get the set of 5. Go over here, get this trail of rings. Be careful not to get hit on this next section, this next bit. Unlike the previous area, the normal mode, you have to defeat this enemy to actually progress. And you don't want to lose rings from it. I'm just going to get some more. Go over to here, and we're going to clip through the door, and that should be the end of Radical Train. I think I'm good enough. I was a bit slow, but... No. Oh. Hi, Silver. Oh, I was a bit worried there we'd have to do a Tropical Jungle again. That would have been terrifying. Okay, next up is Aquatic Base. Aquatic Base is pretty much the same as a normal time attack in hard mode. You might get slightly more points, technically, but, like, it's a 49,000 point bonus with the time we would get, like, of around, like, 118, 130, 140 range. And with the points you get from defeating enemies, that's typically enough. So, yeah. we're just going to do the speedrun strats, the normal, fastest way to go through stages. Which is good. You get to see a lot of the variation we see in Silver's story.
Let's start by getting rid of them.
There you go. 11-116 is really good for hard mode because the enemies changed there. Instead of being a 3 individual Iblis doggos, as I call them, it's 2 Iblis doggos and a worm. And so the worm is harder to defeat because it has a health bar, 3 hits, so it's easiest to stun and then pick up and let go. That's the quickest way to defeat it. And we're just going to get through this stage as quick as possible. This is what you'd see in No Credits Warp, typically. You'd go around like this, hover for a bit, get onto these, the science ball, as I call it. Get over to here. Those laser gates wouldn't be there, necessarily, in No Credits Warp. The hard mode does add a bunch of lasers, kind of too many lasers. Like, there's a laser gate here. Why is there a laser gate here? That's sniped there. That's unfortunate. So yeah, if they touch the lasers, you lose. That's okay. I think this can still easily be an S rank. The time's just not going to be as good. And why do I know it's going to be an S rank still? These things. These give you instant combos. They're very cool. We do like those things. I don't even know what to call them. What would you call them? Lava lamps? Night lights? Like, does anyone have a reasonable name for those things? The enemy patterns have changed here as well. Instead of a bunch of birds at the end, there's going to be a bunch of these boys. I'm going to stand here so they both try to attack me, which makes them vulnerable. And that should be good. So yeah, the Iblis golems there, if you are within range, they're going to do like a ground pound attack instead of doing their normal, like, chuck something at you attack. And so you can save time there by getting near them and slaying them both really quickly. Alright. We're approaching the end of the run, everyone. We have only 2 more hard mode stages left and 4 more missions. So, Kingdom Valley Hard. We get to see the telelaunch, actually, so I might as well explain what it is. As I mentioned earlier, a telefling is basically picking up an object while on top of it, and that forces the object to be pushed away from Silver in a certain direction based on how he's facing, or like the curvature of the object. I'm going to stand on this rock like here, hold down right. Ah, bit too early. Try it again.
I should have realized Eggman's scheme.
There we go. That is a telelaunch. The object is then thrown so that it's in its thrown state, and then lifted so that you can just skyrocket into the air. That skips a bunch of death planes here, and it skips most of the stage. 14 seconds. You'll see that again in No Credits Warp. That's a very common thing. I like the fact that the hard modes here act as a taste of No Credits Warp in the middle of Silver All Gold medals. Because the best strats typically for hard modes are the ones we use in the standard runs, the more standard ones. So, more combat here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, these enemies will throw either 1 or 2 of these things at you, and if you attack them with their final hit, they will instantly die. So it's useful if you could do that. I'm going to collect these blue things to attack them like so.
I'll take it from here.
And now I'm going to be Sonic. Once more. I'm going to... The pattern of the enemies here is slightly different, so I'm going to just hold forward. This is scary. I don't like this. It looks like you won't be able to make that, but you can. Sonic's homing attack has a really weird range system. Like, sometimes it's like, yeah, that seems to make sense, and sometimes it's like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But you make do with what you got. I'm almost certain the camera itself actually influences Sonic's homing attack. I'm going to use the white gem here. Oh, I was going to use the white gem. To clip through there really quickly. I'm going to swap over to the sky gem and do the same trick I did earlier. Launches up high into the sky. And we're going to fall down on the checkpoint, hopefully not on Silver. Thank you. They're just going to move around to Sonic like this through the stage. I'm going to switch to the red gem so I can This is a red-purple switching. It's done to waste slightly less time every jump you do with the purple gem, because if you switch back to red gem, you can do it. So I'm just holding RT the entire time, and when I switch back to red, it automatically slows down. But yeah, the inputs for this is done a lot in ILs. Not typically done in RTA because it doesn't usually save time, but I'm doing it here to ensure that I will get the S rank, even with lower rings than I initially intended to have. It's fairly difficult because of the nature of it. The menuing has to be quick, and the D-pad on the 360, if any of you use a 360 controller in your life, you'll know it's not a very good D-pad. All you need to defeat, interestingly enough, is just those 4 enemies. The rest of the enemies do not matter in this section. And there you go. That's Kingdom Valley Hard.
That was incredible.
We are approaching the end of the run, everyone, and I could save a good amount of time in this next split. All dependent upon how nice Flamecore wants to be to me. So who's ready? This is perhaps the hardest S rank in the entire game. Nice gold. Okay, so Flamecore hard. This is by far the most difficult hard mode in all of Sonic 06. I played 180 gold medals, so I know all the hard modes individually. This one, it has no mercy. The time bonus is significantly reduced from what you previously would have had in Silver's story. In like the normal mode, where it's an automatic S rank, it's very low here in comparison. So, you need to rely a lot on large enemies, those golems, for instance, here, which are worth 10,000, or, sorry, 1,000, not 10,000. And basically you base all your combat off of those ones and those ones alone, while neglecting other enemies that are relatively insignificant. I am going to be stuck here, aren't I? There we go. So those worms aren't enough to be worthwhile. These ones are, typically, so I go for this.
Probably because you can.
Again, rings are important as well, but we don't actually use rings. I don't actually rely on rings here for score, even though everywhere else I may. Okay, I'm going to lift this one up. There is a golem over here, which is fairly easy to take down. So I'm just going to throw this box at it. There you go. No invincibility here this time. Although, no, actually I'm getting the invincibility because it sent me the wrong way. So I got invincibility here. Yay, safety! Some form of comfort in this, in this very difficult stage. The invincibility is here. I can just go through these. I think I've... Oh. Never mind, there's no comfort. Get those. It's another 600. I was gonna say if that enemy stunned itself or like opened its eyes, I would have attacked it, but nah, not gonna stun that. Go up to here. So these enemies don't really matter as much, so I'm just going to go around them, like so. Then hover, back in bounds. I want to avoid the death plane that's here. Go for this. There's a 1-up. Those are worth 200 points. I forgot to mention that 1-ups are worth a decent amount as well. Not like a lot, but... This ring. Oh. And hopefully don't have the Cocoa Puffs end me. Okay, let's see. Okay, it might look like I got hit by a Cocoa Puff, but for some reason in Flamecore Normal, the stage load zone is like right at the edge of the volcano. In Hard, it is inside it, so you just like drop sharply down, and it causes heart attacks all across the 06 fandom. Fortunately, though, we're safe. This is a leader. Attacking him will cause the other ones to give way. It does not do that in normal mode, for whatever reason. And again, it's not a clearly marked leader, unlike other ones. I need to get about, I would say, 2,000 more points from enemies before I feel comfortable. These ones are worth 1,000, so that's good. I'm gonna go for this enemy up here. This will just be stunned. Okay, make sure to get rings. You can do that again with the enemy that's up here. This is a really good potential right now for Flame Core. Doing pretty well, but let's see if we can keep it up. Because my concern is, I don't know if I can do that. Okay, get close to this enemy. Cool. Flip through here. Get 6 rings. I want exactly 6. Otherwise, this skip will not work. Oh, thank God that made it. Okay. Going to hover, and I'm going to get hit in mid-air. This should give me a single ring, which I can use to continue on. ETD a few times. Get right in front of here. Pause buffer a teleslide and clip right through. Let's see if we got it, everyone. Did we do it? Yes, we did. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. One stage does make the difference in all gold medals, as I say. And this is that one stage. So. 1, 2, and 3. That was an excellent flame core. Now we're 3 minutes ahead. Immediately, first thing I'm going to do is actually go back to silver now. I have 115. I'm done. So now we got to just complete the final missions in Silver's story. I do these after because I want to use the shock bracelet for them. And so the best way to do that is to just go back to them after you completed the story, because you're going to be right before Kingdom Valley. And so once I'm here, I'm going to go for the final 2 medals that are in this area. And we can use our best friend, the SCTD, for one last time. Everyone say goodbye to the SCTD. It's been very useful to us in this category. Look at how Silver flies. My majestic bird of a hedgehog. That works, sure. That makes sense. That's a sensible sentence. And then the final one, let's see if I can get an SCTD. Yeah! Awesome. Now we have Paganini, who is the Apple Man, and this is why one of my best friends calls this category the Polite Apples category. This is the apple mission. We put apples in a barrel. And, yeah, that's what we do. We put apples in a barrel. So, those are the barrels. Got some apples here. Just gonna wait for them to clump up together closer, and then into the barrel you go. The amount of points up there, 100 points per each apple that's dropped in, so you can see the amount I need. I need 50 in the barrel. I'm currently not doing very well because I don't know how apples work. Okay, that was good. I need 50. The game will recognize this mission is completed or finished as soon as you hit 50, but notice the timer up there, it'll keep ticking for some reason. The game's just like, I guess there's more time. Because you're supposed to put in as many apples as you can within the time limit. The issue with that is obviously that's a bit slow to wait for all the apples to fall. So instead, what we're going to do here, once we get 50, we're going to go off to this pier and fall into it. Hit the death plane. Okay, that was a pretty decent time. It's gonna look like we failed. Like, that looks like a failure, right? The way it fades in like that indicates usually failure. But no, we've completed the mission. And look, we completed in record time. 16 milliseconds. That's all we needed.
Perfect.
It's truly all we needed. And it's an automatic S-ring because of that. Don't have to wait 4 minutes for the mission to finish, and it's funny. I like it because it's funny. It's so silly. But it's a consistent way to do that. Alright. So now you really have to say goodbye to the SCTD, everyone, because we're going to get the shock bracelet. And you don't see the shock bracelet at all in a normal speedrun, so I'm really glad that I'm able to show it. I tested this. There might be a lot of load screens, you think, but the additional load screens do not counteract the fact that this makes combat significantly faster. And these three stages, these three missions, are very combat heavy. So, the last three in the run. So first is mission 13, then mission 9, then mission 10. I'm going to clip over here, because again, I just can. I'm silver. I'm cool like that. There's a box here, as you might notice. Gonna lift up until I hit this silver medal. Gonna scare that man, because why not? He talks about apples. He totally has it coming. Let's talk to the shop, and let's buy the shock bracelet and the single-layered extreme. Just because why not? I'm not gonna stand on this sign here, like so. I'm gonna lift. I'm gonna throw. There you go. That is one of the last ones. There's one more, but I now have the shock bracelet, which is that move you saw there when Silver like slammed to the ground. Also, yes, you can telethrow those signs even if you don't like adjust them. You can literally just stand on them and then lift and throw. Cool game. Here's Lost Company property, and this is one of the missions where I think the effectiveness of the shock bracelet really shows itself. It is immensely better than any other form of combat we've had this far. We just can't use it because of the SETD. We don't need the SETD anymore, so we can get it. I'm gonna go to the left here. I can still use a teleport dash, or an extended teleport dash. I just can't hold X. This is what it does. It gives it essentially has like a ground pound. It forces Silver to the ground, and then it stuns any enemy within a radius of that, which is fantastic. It makes for really quick combat. Also, Dentistry returns, and as you can see, it's a lot of points. You know that being a dentist could be so profitable. You can also use a lot of these barrels to just defeat this enemy, because they don't often get... You can't stun them unless you are close to them, alas. Okay, the enemies are spawning in. As you can see, the shock bracelet also stuns enemies even before they spawn in. So I can just get these enemies really quickly. Destroy Dentistry again, just to make sure. You know, extra Dentistry death for no reason. Dentistry. I meant to say barber this entire time. I've been saying dentistry. Oh no. Sorry, dentists. Anyways, I can use the shock bracelet here as well in the same way. It is just immensely powerful what you can do with the shock bracelet. Because of its pretty big range, it like attacks enemies really quickly. And it's a good default if you don't know what to do in terms of combat. It's just a shame that we don't get to see it in the main run. Because it also prevents us from doing LEs. Since the X button is busied, we can't hold an LE. And so in general, the trade-offs that you make are generally more positive towards not having the shock bracelet rather than having it. So you can also do these missions without the shock bracelet entirely during the course of the run, but I think that's slower. Because you saw how many times I used the shock bracelet here. It's just really useful.
Perfect.
It'd be very difficult to do this without the shock bracelet, but it is possible, just a lot slower. Something more around, I would say the best tip you can get is more like 230, 240. And the loads alone don't offset that one stage. There's another stage, another mission we have coming up, where that's going to be immensely useful, and also helps in that regard. Okay, so there's one more silver medal. It's up here. We're going to hover to it, and then we'll have gotten all the silver medals, which will give us a gold medal. Then I'm going to tap hover over to here, silver medal, go down. I'm then going to use the shock bracelet to just fall down, like that. And we have another mission over here, mission 9. Roberta, This is kind of a really funny division, to be honest. There are some barrels in this warehouse. Don't worry about the barrels. They're cool. We can deal with them. So if any enemy attacks that barrel, the screen fades to black and you reload back into the hub world. It's so funny. I don't get it. I love it. So yeah, you want to quickly defeat those sets of enemies, and then I'm going to wait for all these to shoot missiles, and then pick them all up. Throw them at the center, and then throw them at each of these individually. Oh, I protected the barrel with my body! Wow! I did it for you, barrels! I did it for you. That was so funny. I don't split here, because we're gonna have a gold medal animation after this. Because we got all the silver medals. At this point, it's gonna give us a gold medal animation. I think we're at 53. Yeah, Hotsun is not a mission. So Hotsun is just there. Hotsun's not a mission. Hotsun's just an NPC. I can talk to Hotsun after this run is done. For you. I don't know if Hotsun's in this hub world, this variant. I'm actually not sure. I know he's in silver, but I don't know if he's in this version of Castle Town. Why was I doing that? I could have just, yeah, that was silly of me. So this is the final mission of the run, everyone. This is Mission 10, Raid, Evil Monster. You know, the thing that's been cluttering up everyone's subscriptions on YouTube. Oh no. Raid Evil Monster. So, this mission is quite weird. There is normally, like, a progression of enemies that the game expects you to go through, but they only check to make sure you defeated the last set. So, instead of defeating all the enemies, I'm just going to throw a bunch of barbershop barricades. I've also got something called Grab All, which if I double tap RT, it'll pick up everything in a certain vicinity for me. And throw them in a different way. That means I can, like, more quickly attack things. I'm gonna ignore all these enemies. I'm gonna get some rings over here. Gonna get some more of the barricades here. Okay, I can't get that one. That's unfortunate. I will be fairly careful here on. I don't want to lose any rings, otherwise I risk not getting the S rank. Pick up these, throw these. Go to the enemy here and wait for it to be stunned. Because this is a leader. It's going to give us a big point bonus. Throw these. No. Stop. Stop doing this. Don't like this. I just got hit by something and didn't die. Cool. I'm just going to take a little bit more time to get some more points, just to be on the safe side. Hello? I don't like this. Nope! Focus does not like this at all. I don't know about this, everyone, to be honest. I might have just failed the world record right there, but let's see how it goes. That was a little bit rough. Let's see if my points. Let's see if I have enough. I do, just barely though. Whew. So that's it. That is silver all gold medals, everyone. It finishes on the last gold medal animation clearing. I may have counted wrong, but I'm pretty sure we have all the missions. I'll check again, just to make sure. 1. Okay, supposedly that's it. I don't think I counted right, though. I must have gotten 56. Let's see, though. That's the end of silver all gold medals, but before we're going, I have to make sure to check that this is a valid run, of course. So I'm going to save. I'm going to quit, and I'm going to check the gold medal results, just to make sure I've gotten every single thing I needed to. So that's a world record. But let's see if it's real. Sure is, everyone. Well, there we go. That is silver all gold medals. Not only is it a world record, but there's my submission video. If you're interested in learning more about Sonic 06, you can hit !06 in the Discord, in my chat, and get linked to the 06 Discord. Quite a fun run, and I honestly think that stuff like this is worthwhile showing off in events, because, well, this is a fairly long run for 06 standards. I think it's really entertaining all the way through. There is not really a dull moment, and even when the game is being mean, it's mean in a funny way. Like when I got 49,940 points, you know, like that. It's kind of funny. It's like the game pitied me, and said like, no, you're doing too well. Stop. No, I want you to be 60 points away, please. So, you know, it's sort of funny in that way. So I think that hopefully I've shown you all how good of a run this can be. Not to mention, hey, world record. Definitely not a bad way to end the stream. And with that, I thank you all for watching, and hopefully you, those of you who are watching this as a marathon submission video, look into this run as a potential candidate for your marathon. Hopefully I've been entertaining, and I really hope that I can help you guys out in any way, shape, or form. So thank you.